CodeRed selected.
What's good, guys? It's your boy CodeRed, and I am back with another one. So listen, man, before we get started, I want to ask a special request. If you're liking the content, if you've been watching me and checking me out and enjoying what you're seeing, and even if you're new and if you like the content, hit that sub button. Helps me out a lot. I'm really focused on hitting a number this year, but I can't get there without you guys. So if you're liking what you're seeing and if you're enjoying the content, help your boy out, all right? With that out the way, let's get into it. So, Invincible Versus. The beta took place this past weekend, and it was a problem. There was a problem. Rage quitting. Rage quitting was a thing. And funny enough, I can remember me having specifically like 3 or 4 matches where it was obvious that whoever it was rage quitted. And I did not like really pay much attention to it because you know it happens, but I did kind of find it odd. I was like, why are we rage quitting, in a beta? Like, as far as like me thinking from being a fighting game player, like a person that plays fighting games, that's not a common thing that you experience. Because a lot of times people are playing these games to just really get familiar with the game. They're not playing to like just become better, right? It's a beta. So it was a very odd situation, but it was very obvious that, soon as they get caught in a combo or something just wasn't going right, it was like disconnect. So, funny enough, I started to see this sudden like emergence of like people talking about the rage quitting, and it was, various forums, and then I saw a lot of stuff happening on X, people talking about it, a lot of content creators, a lot of top players, showing clips of people rage quitting, and I'm like, yo, okay, so this is a thing. And it's funny because it got me to like really thinking about this situation and looking at it and like, why is this happening? Like, why would this just suddenly start to become a thing? But then as I started to think, and this is something that's just my thinking, but in the more recent years, we have experienced a lot of fighting games coming from like various IPs like that are like established forms of entertainment, whether it be like comic book, an animated series or cartoon, whatever the case may be. We have seen this sudden growth in fighting games being developed off of pre-existing form of entertainment, right? And Invincible, we know, it's a comic book, but also it's a very popular TV show now. It has a big following for it. So I started to think about that a lot. And first and foremost, that is the way. That's going to be a more common thing. You're going to start seeing this a lot of pre-existing franchises or things from different areas, cartoons, animes. It's just becoming a thing to where these things are being created and turned into fighting games. So I don't see it going anywhere at all. Like this is going to be the new way. But it made me start to think like to where if this is happening in a beta, why? Why is this occurring? And I came to this idea of, normally I say, there's a competitive side, there's a casual side. Well, I'm adding something new. I think that we are entering an area where it's also a fan player base. It's just strictly a fan player base. So you have, your higher end people, the competitive side, but then you have the casual player, which I would classify myself as a more casual player. And then you have the fan player. The fan player is, to me, what we're seeing a lot of, and that is a person that may be invested or liking whatever that product is, but not necessarily into the genre itself. So with the idea of Invincible Versus, I think this is a situation in which you're seeing a lot of these people going and purchasing these games, picking it up, wanting to play it because they enjoy who the characters are, the stories of it, the background of the characters, but they don't necessarily aren't really into the genre of fighting games. And of course, when you look at those rage quitters, It could be a lot of things, right? Some of those situations, it may not all be the same, but I when I see this and I look at it happening at an obvious, it's very common, a common rate where it's starting to take place. It's obvious something is going on, something's wrong, and I think that that's what we can say it is. I don't necessarily know why it's taking place, but I think what it is that, for that large portion of that crowd, it's coming in this having an expectation of what you consider being just fun, which is fine. I mean, you're supposed to have a good time with these type of games, but then you coming in with this idea of just strictly, I'm just gonna come in, press a few buttons, and then I'm gonna get up out of here. But then you're running into people who are really into the fighting game scene, or really into what and how a fighting game should be played, and then it's kind of like an eye-opening experience. And I think that this is going to be something that is going to be a problem in the future, and it's something that I've talked about in the past, where I've said that the development for these games needs to be more balanced, in the sense of, yeah, we want these things to be more accessible and easy to pick up for newcomers, but also keep the true essence and the depth of what a fighting game should be like, to cater, or to fill the needs of those who are really into that type of stuff, right? Because what you're seeing is that, like the whole joke about I need a refund, I mean, that's real, because what you're seeing is that, yeah, initially you're getting a large flood of people coming in, but a lot of those people aren't going to stick around. They're coming because of the product. They're attracted to whatever that may be, and not necessarily to the genre. So I think that we're entering that part, and it's not going to do anything, but in my opinion, get worse the more that we do this. And do I have a solution to that? No, I absolutely don't. I don't know. I just think that we need to have a little bit more balance in how we approach this, because yeah, I do think that these games should be more accessible. I do think that we should bring in newcomers, but I do think that as a newcomer, you should want to learn about the genre as well, right? And not hop online and just expect this experience to be pleasant, because it's not. I mean, you're gonna run into people. I think about this thing now. I've really gotten into hero shooters, and it's funny because my first hero shooter was Marvel Rivals, and I was attracted to the game again because of the Marvel IP. That was what pulled me in, right? I saw it, I was like, it's Marvel, I'm all about it, let's play it. But in getting there, I knew that long term, or this is something that I was like, okay, this is fun. Like, I couldn't just play the game just to play it and not understand what it means to play a hero shooter, or like a 6v6 style, shooter or whatever. I had to actually take the time to learn how to properly play these games. I had to take the time to actually understand and learn the terminology, talk to people who play these type of games, study top players. Like, this is what you do. To the point to where I was like, okay, now let me try and go into the Overwatch route, which we know Overwatch that's the top, when it comes to the hero shooter thing, and learning that, and really just making myself fully involved in that particular community or whatever. I think that if I would approach that situation with just the mind of, oh, I just want to play it because it's Marvel, that would have not served me any justice, and it definitely wouldn't have served anybody else that I played justice, because you got to understand that there are people that are here to have fun, but there are also people that are here to be competitive. But overall, there are people here to just play. They want to play. So even if you're not jumping in there to just be competitive, and I don't consider myself a competitive player whatsoever. I definitely play fighting games because I love them, but I have a general understanding of how a fighting game works, to where I can put it together. I could be in a room full of people talking just strictly fighting game terminology and know exactly what they're talking about. But that took me time, right? It took me time to get there. Same with hero shooters. It took me time, right? But I feel like if you're going to play those games, you could be attracted by whatever it is that pulled you in there, but I think it's important that you just learn, right? But when it comes to this situation, the rage quitting, again, like I said, it could be a bunch of different things, right? But I find it funny that so many people were experiencing the exact same things. And that's just not, in my opinion, how the community typically works, especially during this time. So I really think that it was just a flood of newcomers. And I think that at this point, man, like, I don't know how those type of things are fixed, or what you go about and find that balance between the fighting game community and those just fan base players. But I do imagine that this is not going to be something that gets any better. But I think that this should be also maybe a lesson to like the developers, like, you know, this is kind of like what you're gonna get, you know what I'm saying? But anyways, I do think that with this too, they need to take and think about the future of this game as far as like how they're going to stop it, because this is obviously going to be a problem. So, but anyways, let me know how you feel about this whole situation, and have you experienced any rage quitting during the beta, and what the experience was like, and just what you think about the overall topic. Do you think that this is introducing just a fan base type of player base versus a competitive or like a casual player? Let me know. And guys, again, these are just discussions. Some of y'all take this stuff too serious and get very, very sensitive behind it, and it's like it's not geared towards that. It's geared to generate conversation and discussion. It ain't targeting you specifically. It is talking about the situation. So keep that in mind, guys. We all are adults, or something like that, right? But yeah, in that conversation, I love to hear from you guys. As always, take care of yourselves and take care of each other. CodeRed, and I'm out.
CodeRed. Selected.